Good morning. Come along as we put in our vegetable garden. I kid you not, this was our garden 6 weeks ago. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and we have been working on this garden area since April. Whew, it's been a ton of work. We had to move a shed, tear out an old fence, dig out mountains of stone, mow, till, and level the area, and finally build a new fence. Here is how we did it. Jim removed the fence from the back of the pool 2 days ago. And so he was able to yank out some of the trees that were along here and the fence because we need to get equipment in here to pull out these trees. We're going to pull them out with the tractor, but you can't do that from any other direction. This shows you pretty much the jungle we are facing in the swimming pool. This is the back fence of the swimming pool. It did not have the fancy fence that we have on the other 3 sides. I believe they put all this up just to make sure a deer didn't jump in there, but there's no deer going to be jumping in this swimming pool. Well, we are going to try to move this old shed to convert it into a chicken coop. This is the first step in getting the garden in. We're a little late this year, but everything takes time. The goal for our weekend was to turn this into a garden. And as you can see, that did not happen. We intended to get that fence up all around this area, up to the hayfield, and then till this, put out our woven weave fabric and plant our plants that have been sitting there waiting for some attention. But things change daily on the homestead. Last Thursday, I decided to run real quick outside and grab something from my car, and I went outside barefoot, and all I did was step on a rock, and it injured the tendon that runs from the front of my foot all the way to the back. And so now I am in a boot in one of the most busy times on a homestead. We are starting to put up the garden fence. First we had to pull out the bushes, then dig out the stone, then fill it in with topsoil. Now we are getting the posts measured out where they need to go, where the gate goes, and like everything else, kind of time consuming. We did go and get an auger for the tractor, which is going to make this actually a whole lot easier for us. Posts in. Well, the first 4 garden posts are in. We're a little slow at our age. That is our baby barn in the background, but this fence is going to continue past Betsy over there, and then we're going to take over with T-posts and go along that hayfield for a very large garden. So even though we didn't get it finished, we got a good start on it. We may not have completed the fence, but we got 4 posts in all by ourselves. And it is the start of our fence. And so it begins. Today, Jim was able to dig out all the wild raspberries, all the multiflora roses by hand, and mow this area. This is our garden. He had hoped to till it, but that will be another day's project.
Too bad the steel don't cut that easy.
We are placing the 8-foot T-posts around the garden. This gas-powered T-post pounder is the best thing that we have ever purchased. We can get a 8-foot post in within about 30 seconds.
I want to check it again just to make sure.
We are adding the fencing to our posts. We've been doing the posts for about a week, and this is to tighten the fence. So what we're doing, as you know, this property, they put all these little white stones everywhere. And so we are removing them from here, which is a big hot mess. We had a yard fence that went across this section, and we took this fencing down to make our yard bigger and to go directly into our garden. So right now we're removing the rest of these stones, and then we are going to level out the yard. And then I think we're done. Woo! What a hot mess. They had so much white stone everywhere in this yard. We made a lot of progress this weekend, but it's been a hot, dry, hard day of work. The garden is 120 feet long. We were able to get all the posts in, all the wire across it. The end is still open because Jim is still putting the tractor in and out, and we're not going to put a gate on there because next year we're just going to move it further down the line and make the garden bigger. We reinforced all the corners, and they were a booger to do. It was a lot of work, but they are strong, and so these posts are not going to move. The fencing itself is 2x4, 14 gauge, 6 feet tall. And the T-posts are 8 foot tall. And we put those in using a T-post driver, which truly saved us a lot of hernias. And this should keep the deer out because inside I will have cattle panels as well. And deer are not tempted to jump in when they can't tell the distance. What is really sad is we are in a major drought. We have not had rain since April, and this is a sheer dust bowl. So we are anxious to get our woven weave fabric onto here and start watering it and keep the moisture in here. Obviously, we don't have anything planted. We have peppers and tomatoes, hundreds of them, to go in. So it's going to be a busy weekend. We have a lot more to do. It is evening here, and part of our garden gets some evening shade, and that is fine. Eventually we might be able to remove one of these trees, but honestly it is so hot here and the sun is brutal. So some of these plants, especially the brassicas, are going to really enjoy having a little bit of shade in the late evening. We just spent another 2 hours leveling out the garden. But I think this is going to have to be it. We're going to finish the rest here with a rake. Whew, we are taking a breather. Fencing is a lot of physical work, especially for a couple almost 60-year-olds. So, whew. The garden fence is done. We can finally start planting. We are so far behind this year, but sometimes you got to look at what you've accomplished and not what you still have to do. Over the next 2 weeks, we intend to put down our woven weave fabric and to plant our seedlings that have been waiting anxiously to go into the garden. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. You have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.